Greetings! On the desk here we have the Zoom MRS-4. This is the B edition, which is the black edition, and there is of course a silver edition, which I also have, but we're going to be going with the B, or the black edition, because black is the new black, and it's the best. So basically this is a 4-track recorder. We all know how wonderful the old 4-track cassette tape recorders are for doing all kinds of cool things like playing each track, being able to kind of utilize cassette tapes and get that kind of retro feel. But yeah, just like the cassette 4-track recorders, it's a 4-track digital recorder. It operates on one of these chips, and I think they come in like 8, 16, and 32 megabytes. This is not gigabytes, this is megabytes. So not very much space on here at all. And probably the coolest feature of this recorder is that it has a loop function. We can loop this. So one of the best features about this, which was so that you could sort of audition it over and over and over again and keep recording a take, until you get it right, was the ability to do the A-B repeat. And so basically what this does, so normally if I play, it just plays on indefinitely, and I hit stop and I bring it back to 0. However, if I play and I hit A-B, and I've set the in point by hitting it once, and then I'm going to set the out point by hitting it again, and it will go back to the beginning, and this will just loop. Yep, see, we just looped. So we got about a 5-6 second loop going on right here, and I think that's pretty cool because now we've basically set it up so it's got like a cassette loop style of play that we can get out of this instrument. So now we can record, you know, whatever we want. The cool thing is we can set that length, so I can turn this off at any time, and I could then set a longer length or a shorter length. When it loops over, you get a little bit of a gap, but it kind of reminds me of like when you've sort of spliced a tape loop together. So you get this sort of like awkward pause as it's sort of looping. You might love it, you might hate it, but I think it gives it some character, and I kind of think it's in line with that sort of tape looping idea where we've got that loop going. Additionally, something that makes this really cool is that it has onboard effects. So you can select them via track. And there's delay, there's some reverb, there's some chorus. So I think it gives you some great versatility, and with like some of that delay or some of that reverb that you can add onto the track, you can sort of cover up some of the gap when it does the loop. So I'll show you that here in a second, but I just want to talk about the bits that I think are really useful for making the sort of ambient looping music that we've all come to know and love. So I think we should start by diving into recording some takes onto these tracks, and start by showing you how some of that might look. So I've got the Korg Op6 here queued up here, and I'm going to just tee up some sounds, and then we'll start recording onto the Zoom. Okay. So I've got the Korg Op6 teed up, and I've got just a simple sine wave on an arpeggiator running in the background. I'm going to record just a few seconds onto track 1 of this chord. Then we'll do a different chord to each track, and then we can kind of experiment with some of the features. So let's get started. I've set the input level, and I'm going to set each one of these. That's super distracting. I'm going to set each one of these to consistent levels, so that, and I'm not going to touch any of it, so it's all pretty consistent. Okay, so these are all set to the same level, so it should be pretty consistent when we input sounds. So as you can see on the sort of the meters here, it's coming in on track 1, and then this is our master volume here. So I don't have to do that to record. I'm just going to put it pretty low as we record track 1. So you cue it on red to arm and then green to play. So I'm just going to put it on red to arm it. We're back on 0. Set it to record. And I'm going to do about, I don't know, I'll just do 6 seconds for the fun of it. So 6. Okay, so we have recorded to track 1. I'm going to turn the input off for a second, and then you can just hear it. So take a listen. And when it gets to about 6 or 7 seconds, it's just going to stop. And there we go. Obviously, just like if it were a tape, it keeps running. And like I said, we can set that loop point. So I'm going to go back to the beginning. And let's pick another chord here. And we're going to record onto channel 2. So it's coming into on input 1, and we're routing it to track 2. Okay, so we've got another chord here. I'm going to make sure we're on 0, and we are going to record this for about 6 seconds. Okay. And we'll turn that off so we can listen to it. And if I play it, back to 0. We've got that one here on track 2. And you can hear them both at the same time if I play both at the same time because their levels are up. So let's do track 3. Now, I've inputted some sound onto each track, and you can hear that here. You can hear them all playing at the same time. I can fade them out. But it's useless if we don't set up the loop, so let's set up the loop. And we'll do about 5 seconds. 3, 4, and now that's going to loop. And you can hear a little bit of the gap, just part of the character. But check this out. Yeah. I don't think I picked the best chord progression, but you get the idea. And like I said, we're just looping a 5-second loop here, and it's just going through all of them. Plays them for 5 seconds, and you hear a loop. Now, you might be saying, well, that loop gap's kind of annoying. Well, the thing I like to do is add a little bit of the effects on there, so let's do that. You have to engage the send for each of the tracks. So you could have it on, or you could not. And let's just put it on track 1, and we'll leave it off for the other ones, and you can hear it. And so we'll put it to, say, let's put it on a short delay for the fun of it. And let's go ahead and play. And hey, and you can hear the gap, but it's not that bad. And we can turn it off. And here's the longer one, which is actually kind of cool. And you can hear the gap, but we're building something. And there's a chorus, stereo chorus. Sounds really cool. I think that adds a lot of body because we could, of course, add in effects post this unit or pre the track coming in, the sound coming in. But I think this is cool. I think this is really neat. Let's listen to the reverb here. That's nice. Now again, we didn't add it to this one, so let's go ahead and do that. Oh, hey, here we go. And let's just add it to them all, because why not? Okay, so you can see how kind of fun that is, and I think the onboard effects really helps the unit deal with that kind of loop gap. Another really cool thing about this is it has what they call VTake, and VTake is basically like, if you are familiar with Ableton's take lanes, you can go into the individual track and you can select the take, and the idea was originally that you would maybe do 8 versions of a guitar solo and then be able to sort of pick and choose which one you wanted to play with the rest of the accompaniment. However, I think the versatility of that is really powerful for ambient and loop-based music, because you could, of course, have multiple versions for a live performance. And we might have different notes, we might have different instruments, some different sounds, we might have some effects on some of that stuff. And we can have multiple, looks like up to 8, I think 8 different versions of each of these lanes, right? Each of these tracks can have 8 different versions. So that's 32 possibilities in just one 4-track, and that's just one song, and we can have multiple songs, each with multiple tracks with multiple takes, V-takes. So I think that's a really cool feature about this thing. Separates it, kind of elevates it from the cassette tape 4-track recorder. Say I didn't like track 3 and didn't feel like it fit in there, but I didn't want to delete it. I can simply go into the VTake, and I think, let's see here, and here we are, and you can see I'm on 3, and I can just add another one. Now, when I play this, I didn't affect this one, but this one has nothing. I will say, the one thing that's a bummer is you can't do it live while playing. You do have to stop to enter the different V-takes. That's a bummer, but hey, no worries. You know, just got to get creative. But again, like I said, you could quickly run through each of these. I can change all of these on the fly really quickly. So I could advance to a different song in a live performance, or just have some different options to come back to. I think that's really cool. So let's go ahead and record something different on that one with that take lane and see how it goes. When I'm recording, if I have this repeat loop on, it will only record for the loop. So that's kind of cool. So I've already got my loop set up. I'm just going to play right into that. Okay, just trying something different here, and let's arm the recording, and it'll automatically stop and then start playing again. So I actually have to turn off the input, or I could keep playing over it. It won't keep looping or keep adding to the loop, just like a cassette tape. And you saw it stop. And now we have both the input. So I'll turn that off. So now let's try that and see how that works for our purposes. Play. And the cool thing is, depending on when it started, they might be kind of stacked on top of each other like these two, or they might be offset a little bit because it's sort of all on the fly and kind of organic. So again, just like live recording of cassette tapes, you get that same feel, same vibe, all in a digital package. And like I said, we just recorded track 3. We have 2 versions of track 3, right? We've got this, and of course we have the first one, the original one. So in a couple of seconds, I was able to change track 3 from one thing to a completely different thing. Could be a chord, we could have all kinds of stuff in here if you wanted to really get into the live ambient improv sessions. You could do some really cool stuff with this. And again, they've got the effects, so we can change that up and get a totally different vibe. You know, like I said, we've got these guys here. And we can And that's all live playing, right? That's really cool, right? We took this old device and we put some sounds into it, and then we turned it into a completely different thing. So yeah, that's the main thing that I think is really cool about this. There is one other feature that I think is really neat, and that is the auto punch in out. So if I had, say, some chords on here, and say they were playing for about 10 seconds or so, I could set a section where basically we could record over only a little snippet. And I might record that same chord but with a different octave, or I might record it with a different sound from a synth or a guitar. It could be something, it could be something completely different. We could make a whole collage of little bits and pieces all on one track and let them play. Okay, so I want to do just a quick run through of the auto punch in and out. I'm just going to record some quick chords onto each track, and then we'll play those just so you get a feel for it. And then I'm going to add the same, on track 1 here, I'll add the same chord but in different sounds from, again, I got the Korg Op 6 over here just to my right. So I'll set this all up real quick, and then we'll add in some of the punch in and out, create that collage I was talking about. Oh, that's horrible. We don't actually want that. And let's loop at about 8. Okay, cool. And let's do the next chord. There we go. So now we're all set up. So say we think this is kind of boring, and we want to add in some other note. So there's our chord, and let's add in the place we want to overdub. So go back to the beginning here, and I'm just gonna. Okay. Now, if I've set the points, and I just picked a random spot, and I think you'll hear the gap. There. Yeah, that gap right there at 2 seconds, that's where it will record. Right there. All right, let's do this. Okay, so I got a sound. We're gonna arm the recording, or we're ready to roll here. Back at 1, and you're gonna hear it. Right there. Yeah, okay. Now we can stop. Now check this out. This is cool. Hold on. Check this out. This is cool. Yeah, that's cool, huh? Okay, let's do another one. Back to 0, set the record. Okay, and I think if I play, you'll hear where it's gonna be. Right there. Let's do this. Arm the recording. Right there. And stop it. Okay, now let's have a listen. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Let's do another one. A little quiet, so let's arm the recording. Oop, set it to record. Arm the recording. And you could add in other things other than keyboards, vocals, or whatever you wanted to layer in. But the cool thing is we're building a texture here, and I'll get to how it gets even cooler. So let's take a listen to that. And let me add an arpeggiator in there just for fun. Okay, let's add this into it. Okay, let's listen. Okay, so now we have this looping collage of sounds, all with the same chord. Let's engage some effects. Now, dream with me here. Imagine we plug this then into some other effects as some other cavernous reverbs or other delays or whatever, and we do that same process with tracks 2, 3, and 4, and now we're, you know, jamming with these different chords, bringing in different textures with each glide, and all be kind of offset in this nice evolving pattern. You can imagine where you could take it from here, and I think it could be pretty cool. This thing is way more powerful than I think people give it credit for. And I'm sure that's true of all of the digital recorders of this era. So definitely don't sleep on the Zoom MRS-4 or the 4B Black Edition, the best edition. Obviously, the cool thing about something like this is that these are way cheaper than some of the cassette 4-track recorders. This is cheaper than a broken 4-track cassette recorder. If you're looking to get into that sort of ambient looping vibe and don't want to spend the money on a cassette recorder, I think these are now going for like $100, but I bought this one for I think 40, and the other one was like $35. And then I did have to buy the cards. I bought 2 of those, and I think they were like $20 a piece. I bought it all on eBay. So totally an option to get into that sort of that realm, and it's got some quirks to it, just like a cassette 4-track. And there's other versions, right? There's 3 tracks, there's 8 tracks, all with a bunch of bells and whistles. Some have built-in speakers, all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, this was for recording demos and mixtapes and stuff. So if you had a band in high school during the 90s or whatever, you probably wanted something like this because you probably couldn't afford $3,000 worth of Pro Tools equipment. So yeah, I think if you can get your hands on one for under $100, totally worth it. I think it's a super awesome way to incorporate some looping, and you can set this all up, and you could then play this live and have this running in the background while you noodled over the top or played some synths. You could record live to it. You could do this all live, as you've seen me kind of do. Takes a bit of time to get everything set up, and it kind of takes a bit of time to get comfortable with it, but I do think there's a lot of power here. I think there's a lot of creativity that can be had. Make sure these don't end up in the dump. These things are cool. These things are awesome. I think there's a lot of possibilities. So I really do hope this video was informative. I hope you learned something or got something out of it. If anything, I hope that it gives you some inspiration and it gets the creative juices flowing with some gear you might have lying around or something, a 2-track, a 4-track, whatever you got. Try to find cool ways to use it in a musical sense. Try to use some of the techniques that you see done with the cassette 4 tracks, 2 tracks, whatever, and try to apply them to something like this. See what you can come up with. If you found this video useful and you do end up taking some of these ideas on your own and doing some cool stuff, link them in the comments. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see what people get up to with this type of device and what kind of creative ideas people get going. So I'd love to see it. So please do share those with me. Thanks so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and all that jazz. And we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.